The transit of Neptune through Aries marks one of the most profound shifts in the astrological landscape of the 21st century. As Neptune moves from the boundless, spiritual waters of Pisces into the fiery, initiatory domain of Aries, the collective consciousness pivots from a state of dissolution and drifting to one of spiritualized action and the warrior dreamer. The shift from ocean to ember. For the past 14 years, Neptune in Pisces has dissolved the boundaries between the physical and metaphysical. It was an era of digital saturation, the blurring of fake news and reality, and a collective yearning for escape. In Aries, Neptune no longer wishes to simply dream, it wishes to will the dream into existence. Aries is the first sign of the zodiac, raw, impulsive, and pioneering. Neptune is the planet of mysticism, art, and the invisible. When these two merge, we enter an era where the I Am, Aries, becomes a sacred vessel. The global focus shifts from universal oneness to spiritual sovereignty. People will increasingly feel that their individual identity is not just a social construct, but a divine spark that must be protected and expressed. Historical echoes, the mid-19th century. To understand Neptune in Aries, we must look back to its last transit from approximately 1847 to 1862. This was a period defined by idealistic conflict and pioneering visions. Social upheavals. The 1848 revolutions across Europe reflected the Neptune-Aries mix of idealistic fervor and martial action. Medical and scientific breakthroughs. This era saw the birth of anesthesia and the first major realizations in germ theory, Semmelweis and Pasteur. Neptune rules chemicals and invisible forces, while Aries rules the head and physical vitality. The American Civil War. As Neptune concluded its transit in 1861, the U.S. entered a war fought over the ideal of freedom versus the reality of systemic structures, a classic manifestation of Neptune's dissolving power hitting Aries' combativeness. The global themes of 2026 to 2039. This transit, which fully takes hold in January 2026, will likely define the next decade through several key themes. 1. The rise of the spiritual warrior. We are moving away from passive spirituality toward activist mysticism. This isn't about sitting on a meditation cushion, it's about standing up for a vision. However, there is a shadow side, idealistic zealotry. Because Aries is a martial sign, Neptune can glamorize conflict, leading people to believe they are fighting a holy war when they may just be caught in a collective delusion. 2. Redefining identity and the body. Neptune in Aries will dissolve traditional views of the physical self. We may see a massive rise in biohacking, body modification, and spiritualizing the physical form. Aries rules the face and the head. Expect innovations in how we present ourselves, both through technology, AR/VR skins, and through medical advancements that once seemed like science fiction. 3. Energy and vitality. Neptune governs liquids and fuels, while Aries governs heat and ignition. This transit will likely coincide with the final, desperate dissolution of the fossil fuel era and a visionary leap into new forms of energy, perhaps hydrogen-based or invisible energy sources that currently seem speculative. 4. Leadership and the unseen mandate. Traditional, top-down leadership is under threat. Neptune in Aries favors the spontaneous leader, the person who rises from a crowd based on a vibe or an intuitive call to action rather than a resume. This makes for a more democratic but also a more chaotic political landscape, where charismatic shadows can easily lead the masses astray through emotional manipulation. Navigating the fog. The greatest challenge of Neptune in Aries is the hero's delusion. This is the tendency to believe that one's personal anger is a divine mission. On a global scale, this can lead to impulsive conflicts based on misperceptions. To navigate this transit, the goal is to integrate Aries' courage with Neptune's compassion. It is an invitation to be a pioneer of the spirit, to act with the bravery of a soldier but the heart of a saint. As the structures of the past continue to dissolve, the only compass remaining is the one held by the individual who knows who they are and what they stand for. Subscribe, like, and share.